Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my official 20,000 mile review of this beautiful Tesla Model S long range version. So we're going to go through the exterior here, look at all the details and how the car has been working, how well it's been performing. Also, how's the wear and tear been? What are the issues or what are the challenges that I've had with the car since I've had it, and walk through all those details. So let's go ahead and get started here. The first thing to kind of look at is just the standard wear and tear you see on the paint. You can see I did not get PPF on the car, and so there are a few different rock dings on the hood of the car, as you can kind of see here. Overall, pretty good though. I just washed it this morning. A little bit of wear and tear here and there. Front bumper's got some rock dings as well, so it's not quite in perfect condition by any means. This might be able to get out by a detailer or just using some special cleaning and then polishing up the paint itself, but not too bad overall. Front glass did not get any major rock dings at all or any kind of dings, so the glass held up well. Wipers performed really well as I've driven this car. I've about the last 2 years, it took me about that long to get about 20,000 miles on the car. It's about 20,700 miles right now, so just slightly over 20,000 miles. But wipers are good. I love the wipers because they have the automatic turn on because of the rain sensor right up in that camera, and they've always done a really good job. The other thing that's kind of nice is when you put the spray on, it doesn't shoot out from the hood here. It actually comes out from inside the wiper somehow. They put the water in there, so it actually shoots the water out of the wipers, which is really nice. So overall, I really love the wipers, but the car's performed really well. Not good, no challenges at all. Now, tires are an interesting conversation. So you guys may have seen in one of my past videos, I absolutely had some wear and tear on the tires that was not very good. Overall, the two rear tires kind of blew out on a road trip. What was kind of going on is there was a lot of wear and tear on the inner wall of the tire. And someone told me in one of my posts that Teslas in general are really hard on tires because of their overall weight that they have. And because of that, it wore out those two rear tires significantly faster than the two front tires. In fact, these two front tires, I exchanged about 15,000 miles in, and then those rear tires around the same time, but then they wore out really fast with about 7,000 miles. So I thought that was a little too aggressive. But overall, just from an exterior standpoint, 20,000 miles, I've had to replace the front tires once, and then I had to replace the rear tires twice. Part of that might have been my fault because I didn't have the exact correct air pressure in the rear tires. I just kind of let it go. I didn't bother me, and apparently that really wore the tires down. So that's partially my fault. But overall, just something to be aware of when you're buying a Tesla, that they are very hard on their tires, and it is critical to keep them up to date with the latest pressure in each tire, and that way you're going to get a better wear and tear on the tire in the long run. The paint did seem a bit more fragile than other cars I've had. Overall, little dings all over the place. It's not too bad, but it is a black car. Did get a little tiny door ding right there. A couple more rocks had sprung up right here and here. Those aren't car dings there. Just that one I pointed out. There's a little bit of, it looks like a door ding there. Also, because of the fender kind of comes out a little bit on the edge, you can see a lot of sprinkled little dots here, and that also could be when the front tires are turning. There could be rocks that fling up and spin out and hit this front fender. I know with a couple of my air-cooled Porsches, I've had that problem as well, but those fenders, those rear fenders, stick out quite a bit more, and that's one of the reasons they pick up rock dings in that area. So that's kind of an issue. Kind of going back to the wheels and tires, the wheels have held up really well. No real rock dings. Of course, I did get a little bit of curb rash here. You can see here from parking. And I've done that a few times on some of the rims, so we'll kind of take a look as we go around the car here. But overall, the rims have held up really well. The brakes have held up really well. Some people really complain about the brakes on these cars. They're not performance brakes, but they do brake really good, in my opinion. And this car, even though it's not the plaid version, it does accelerate really fast and it goes really fast. But you know, anything beyond what it regularly does is not really my type of car. It's not like I'm going to be tracking this car or driving it too fast in general. So overall, it's been fine. You can see there, I've got the clean air sticker down below I've used. In the Bay Area, it's really critical to have that for cars just to be able to drive in the carpool lane when needed. So that's been very helpful. Obviously, towards the rear of the car, it's in much better shape from a rock ding standpoint, but it's held up really well. Glass has been great. No problems with the glass. I really didn't use the defroster that much here in California. Would be interested in anyone telling me how well that worked for them if they live in a colder states where that really matters and you need to defrost the car. The car's been pretty much garaged the entire time. Hasn't been left outside maybe more than 1 or 2 nights here and there. Looks like I do have a little bit of a scratch here. I just realized that. Have to see if we can rub that out. So I'm not sure exactly where that came from, but I just noticed that here just now, even as I've already washed the car. So overall, you can see that more little rock speckles here on the fender. This is something I definitely would get PPF. You can see the stock PPF right here, but needs to go up a bit higher. In hindsight, I probably should have done a full PPF, at least on that back area and the front of the car in hindsight. So I do get PPF on some of my other cars. This is a lease car though, so I am going to be turning it back in another year. And for those of you that are curious, I haven't decided what I'm getting next, but it will very much likely be in another electric car, maybe a Tesla. You can't really beat the price per kilowatt on a Tesla. They have the best batteries and the best way to drive the car overall. But there's a lot of new exciting electric cars coming out, and everyone in general is going to be driving electric one of these days over the next couple of years anyways. So the wear and tear on the car, just, you know, opening doors, shutting doors, no problems at all. Never had any leaks. The windows have worked perfectly every time. Seals really well. Car's pretty quiet inside when you're driving along, so there's not a lot of road noise. But, you know, overall, the paint does seem a little bit lighter. It does seem to pick up a little more rock dings here and there than I would normally like. So just something to be sensitive about. Headlights. Let's talk about the headlights. So the headlights have been fabulous. The one thing that I think Tesla just does an amazing job of is these LED headlights. They work great. And if you're on any road trips where, you know, you're out in the woods or driving over Mount Shasta or Mount Hood up in Oregon, or in Bend and Mount Bachelor, one of the things that they do a great job at night is it will turn on automatic beams, high beams, and then it turns them off if a car is coming at you before you even see the car itself. So it has a really sensitive trigger to that. It works really, really well. I've always been really impressed with how well those high beams jumping back to regular beams has worked. This front fender is a little bit low. I mean, it looks really cool when you look at the front of the car and how that front spoiler comes out towards the bottom. I haven't bumped it too many times on curves, but I've also been very aware of it. I did get a little snag right here. You can kind of see a little ding there. But overall, it's been pretty good. I hate to see that. I'll try to get that worked out. But that's the only real ding I got there. The rest of the car's in great shape. No problems with it. Let's see, the folding mirrors have worked perfectly every time, and you can see the door handles pop out as I walk within the proximity of the car. But yeah, the folding mirrors have worked really good, no problems at all. Oh, another thing to comment on is the glass moonroof. Just love the glass moonroof. It's a lot of people wonder if too much sun comes in, and I did not feel that at all. But it's a full moonroof, just to really look outside, all glass. But it's just gorgeous to have that in the car. Makes it really easy overall to enjoy the sun and more importantly, just the light that you get out of there when you're driving around in the daytime. At night, you can't really see out of it, so it's not like you're going to look at the stars or anything. But overall, it's been pretty good. The cameras for the full self-driving have all worked really well. No problems. You got your side cameras. You got these cameras here that look as well. You got cameras above the rear view mirror there, and then you also have cameras in the rear of the car as well. That's done a really good job with the full self-driving, no problems. Another thing to comment on is just the charging port. No problems with that. That's worked brilliantly over the last 2 years and 20,000 miles. No challenges at all with that working well. It always pops out when I need it, either at home when I'm plugging into my own charger, or on the road and using superchargers. I've done a couple trips down Southern California to San Diego to LA. I've driven this car to Vegas from Pleasanton. I've also driven this car all the way up to Oregon, to Bend, and to Portland. So all up and down the West Coast border, no problems at all with charging at the superchargers. It's always done a great job, and no complaints about that at all. The fog lights down here, kind of bouncing back to the front headlights, the fog lights have worked great. In fact, those are really good on dark roads where there's no street lamps as well. So if you are driving in the woods, anything like that, it's worked really well. The car, honestly, I haven't had any real issues at all with the car. I haven't had to service the car. The only thing I've really had to spend any kind of extra money on has been the tires themselves. Everything else on the car has been great. I think there was an over-the-air recall, maybe 1 or 2 of those over the last 2 years, and that was no problem because it's over the air. It was really easy. A lot of storage in the car. We'll kind of go through that in the interior review and talk through the different storage, what I used, what I really didn't use. I really got to know this car quite well and used a lot of different aspects on the car, which just made it an amazing car. Gosh, now I really want to get that a cleaner and get that cut out of there. Not sure exactly where that is, but definitely want to get that cleaned up. But overall, yeah, it's been a great car. All the brake lights have been working really well. The trunks worked really well. So anytime I need to open up the trunk, I can do it from the main dash. I can do it from the app. I've also used, by the way, the mobile app for Teslas is fantastic. It's got to be one of the best car apps ever. I'd love to hear any of you comment about the Tesla app as well, but you can do so many amazing things in the Tesla app. You can charge the car as long as it's plugged in. You can open up the windows. You can, if it's a hot day, you can go ahead and cool the car off before you get in the car. If you live in a cold area, you can warm up the car ahead of time. You can even turn on the heated seats or the ventilated seats, all through the mobile app. You can even open up your garage door through the mobile app, as long as the car is around the garage door, because you can signal it to hit the trigger from the car. So overall, the mobile app on Teslas is just fantastic. That's something I'll probably really consider when I get my next EV, is the mobile app itself. Believe it or not, that's a big decision maker, and can definitely push me in the direction of another Tesla. Teslas are just a no-brainer. They're easy to use. They're not complicated. Everything about the computer, the AI, the full self-driving is pretty easy to use and understand. You get into a new electric car, and I know I'm going to be disappointed with the battery life, how many miles I can get on a charge, or even the charging stations. I know Tesla's just recently opened up their charging stations to Ford and GM, and they're probably going to get a lot busier. In fact, I'm going to do a road trip in this car here in another week or two, going to Vegas for a company event, and we will see how well it does. But most importantly, I'm going to see how many other brands are at the superchargers. So again, GM, Ford, and then I also heard Rivian can charge there as well. So it'll be interesting to see how full they are with other cars other than Teslas. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. So anyways, that's about it for the exterior 20,000 mile review. If you guys have any questions, comments, please put them below. Give me a thumbs up on the video. I'd really appreciate it. It's a lot of work putting these videos together, and I'd love to get you guys' input. Anything, any recommendations, any questions at all about the car, just let me know. I'm more than happy to talk through it with you guys and let you know how this Tesla's been. And if you have any recommendations on my next EV, put that below too. I'm really trying to figure out what my next EV is going to be, which one do I want to get, and there we go. So thanks again for your time today. Hopefully this video was helpful. Again, you guys have any questions, put them below. So have a great weekend, everyone.